Well, like I said, the way that I treat resumes is like you can never assume that anyone's reading between the lines. And you have to treat it like zeros and ones in computer language. So every skill you have to list it somewhere on your resume, or else somebody's making a search for Java Web Services and Agile, but you didn't mention that you've worked in an Agile environment. Guess what? Your resume is not going to pop up. So AI is doing the same thing. They're just eliminating resumes that don't have all the keywords. And this person probably, almost everybody's worked in an agile environment. So the problem is he's probably worked in an agile environment and just didn't think that it was necessary to mention it.
The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. At Permasize AI Forge, we know you're ambitious, but are manual tasks like admin, lead generation, nurturing, and onboarding holding you back from truly scaling your business? Imagine saving dozens of hours every week, freeing you to deepen client relationships and execute high-impact strategy. Our clients aren't just imagining it. They're saving countless hours per week and doubling their revenue within months. We custom-build AI automation systems that eliminate the grind. From effortless lead generation and nurturing to seamless onboarding, we give you back the most valuable resource, your time, so you can focus on building those vital human connections and driving strategic growth. Stop letting repetitive tasks limit your potential. It's time to build a business that works for you, not the other way around. Ready to unlock your true scaling power? Visit PermasizeAIForge.com and book your free AI audit call today to discover how you can save time and double your revenue. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Intelligence Forge YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new episode.
Welcome to today's episode of our podcast. Today we're going to be looking at a topic very fundamental about the human element in AI-powered recruiting. That is the maintaining integrity, trust in tech talent acquisition. I'm excited today because I've got our guest, Nikki Reid, is going to introduce herself as we go along. Yeah, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm Nikki Reid. I'm the owner and VP of Tech Talent for Precision Technology Recruitment, and I've been a recruiter for 30 years, specific to IT. So I do have my thoughts and opinions about AI in the recruiting world, and the human element that's still necessary.
For that introduction, I noticed you mentioned that you've been, doing this for like many years now.
Yes.
And nearly every technology you've worked with over the last 20 years, that's quite a journey. So what actually drew you to tech recruiting initially?
I don't think anybody goes to college saying I want to be a recruiter. It kind of just falls in your lap. Originally, I really wanted to be a dolphin trainer. So I ended up just getting a corporate admin job with a consulting company in Chicago. And then I moved down here to Florida. And then they approached me because they were opening a new office in Fort Lauderdale and wanted me to come back to the company. So I came back to the company and I quickly got promoted from admin to a recruiter.
Wow. And that's how the journey started.
That's right. Yep. And that was back in 1998.
Wow. Okay. So could we say it was a coincidence, or that's just how fortune fell on you?
I guess it was what God's will was for me. It gave me the resources to be able to provide for my family and buy my house at a young age. I bought my house at 23. So, back in the Y2K era, recruiting was pretty not challenging. You could generally find what you needed.
Oh, no.
Now technology has expanded so much. I mean, there's so many specializations and nuance, just its own little minutia within technology that you can't just easily find a certain person depending on what the requirement is.
Yeah, fascinating. So your tagline, "We don't miss," that's a pretty bold statement. So what does that mean to you and your client?
It means to my client, we're not going to waste any of their time. So I practice discernment. I make sure that the candidates I submit are authentic. I listen for integrity. I listen for honesty. I'm listening for consistency or inconsistencies. Those are all things that AI really can't do. And you can't really judge a person's aptitude through AI. You have to be able to be on the phone with them and listen to how they communicate, how they deliver, if they're delivering sensibly. And AI could easily miss a lot of those things. And also,
That's
it has to
true.
do with, candidate engagement is such a big part of recruiting, because sometimes you're the first face to that person of your company. So this is your chance to introduce your company, really highlight all the benefits and all the great things about it. And if they don't have that candidate engagement and that trusting relationship with a recruiter, I think it takes away from the experience.
Certainly, certainly. You mentioned something that you've got some degree of psychology
That's
that you
correct.
use to detect bias in every sense. I'm really
Yeah.
very curious to say, how has this background influenced your approach in recruiting?
So I actually, when I took the psychology degree, it was more about training the dolphins, because that's what the SeaWorld trainers told me. But I do use it very heavily in my interviewing and vetting, because, like I just said, I can listen for inconsistencies. I just let people talk until I can determine if this person is authentic or not authentic, or if they're honest or dishonest. So I'm able to use discernment just through my listening skills and through my education in psychology. I don't ignore the red flags anymore. So I will eliminate somebody once I catch them in an inconsistency, we'll say.
It's interesting. Thanks for sharing. You've worked with some major state government, entities like in California, Montana, South Dakota, and others. How were you able to land some of these big contracts? Because it's not that easy to get this contract. Is there any magic that you're using you want to share
So
with us?
my personal company, Precision Technology Recruitment, did not land those contracts. Those contracts were landed by my employer at the time. So
Oh, okay.
they use the NASPO value point. You can sign up to be a federal contractor on sam.gov. It's a process, but it's worth it. And then, of course, you can sign up to be a vendor for your state and your counties, surrounding counties. So I've gone through all those processes, and there we are.
All right. Thanks for clarifying that. Tell us some of the ups and downs that you've experienced building your own company. What were some of those biggest challenges that you faced, especially when you were getting started?
So I learned a lot. When I set up my LLC, I set it up in December, not knowing that you had to do your renewal fee January through April. So I ended up paying for 15 days in December, and then having to turn back around and pay the renewal fee before April. So that was double the money for the same service, essentially. And then I also learned that even though you have an LLC, you can still be recognized as an S corp from the IRS. Something I also didn't know. But in terms of bootstrapping the company, my first focus was basically getting the website established, setting up my LinkedIn Precision Technology group page, or Precision Technology recruitment company page on LinkedIn, and then trying to push out social media as much as I can to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook even, and LinkedIn, of course.
All right. So let's go to the main topic of today, the human element in AI-powered recruiting. Now, let's dive into some very important, subjects. Your
Yes.
company emphasizes on integrity, transparency, authenticity. Now, candidates engage, in different ways. In this age of AI is increasing, you use AI for screening, interaction. How do you maintain that human touch that you spoke about for you? Because you don't want to actually, do everything on your own, like from A to Z. You still want to leverage on some AI capabilities. So how is that human element, so important to us in all these processes?
So I haven't bought a talent acquisition yet because I don't have enough clients or requirements to justify the purchase of a CRM just yet. But I only use AI in one way, and that's to generate technical questions, anticipated answers, and discussion points. And I drop the job description in there, and it generates me a technical screening script. But that's the only way I'm leveraging AI currently. I have not yet used an ATS or a resume database with AI. I mean, I just think that AI cannot read between the lines. There's many times that I've read a resume and I'm like, wait a minute, so he's done Java and web services. He must have Spring Batch or Spring Boot, but he's not mentioning it here. Well, I'm the one that's going to pick up the phone and call and ask, do you have Spring Batch? Yes, I have Spring Batch. I've done it for 10 years, but AI wouldn't not pull that resume because it doesn't say batch on it. So you have to be able to read between the lines sometimes and make educated guesses and assumptions that if they're using Angular JS, then obviously they know TypeScript. But
Hmm.
maybe if they didn't list that, then the AI won't drag that resume.
Okay, all right. You mentioned without transparency, there can be no trust or rapport. How do you balance the efficiency of AI that AI provided with the need for genuine human connection?
So I have a genuine human conversation first that's about 20 minutes in length. And if I judge that character as an honest person and authentic and I believe that he's worth going and advancing towards, I'd go on video with that person and use AI. But I am looking for, body language, something that AI probably can't do. I'm looking for facial expressions. I'm looking for, honesty and integrity. And to me, that means, hey, if you don't have the skill, just tell me you don't have the skill. Don't bluff around it. Let's not play that game. So I tell people all the time, I'm not selling you a job. I'm introducing you to an opportunity. If you're interested in advancing, then my job is to get an interview scheduled on your behalf. But you also have to vet your own client. You have to vet the employer yourself and make sure this is the kind of culture you want to be a part of. This is the kind of company you want to be a part of. Because you're the one who has to sleep at night, and I want to sleep at night too, and I don't want to take somebody from a good situation to something that's not as good.
Hmm.
So that's what I mean by transparency. And I'm very transparent about rates. Like once we settle on a rate, I send out a commitment, this is the rate we committed to this. And then I send like a contingent offer letter in some cases just saying, hey, this project may not kick off for 6 months, but when we start the project in 6 months, we agreed on a salary of 120,000. Please sign. So, I mean, I'm always just transparent to people. I just treat people the way that I would want to be treated if I was being recruited. And that is, I don't want bells and whistles. I just want really what to expect, what's expected of me, and the fine tuning details of what the initiative consists of or what the solution consists of. And that's what technology people respond to is when you're giving them the technical um, details of how they're going to be using their skills in this scenario.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But looking at the candidate's experience, do you think, from your own opinion, that it's okay to tell each of the candidates if you're using AI as part of the process to let them know? Or do you think, well, it's just really no big deal?
Well, like I said, the way that I treat resumes is like you can never assume that anyone's reading between the lines. And you have to treat it like zeros and ones in computer language. So every skill you have to list it somewhere on your resume, or else somebody's making a search for Java web services and agile, but you didn't mention that you've worked in an agile environment. Guess what? Your resume is not going to pop up. So AI is doing the same thing. They're just eliminating resumes that don't have all the keywords. And this person probably, almost everybody's worked in an agile environment. So the problem problem is he's probably worked in an agile environment and just didn't think that it was necessary to mention it.
Right. So just following what you just explained, do you then think that it's also important to educate the candidate to always update their resume or to say a lot? Because I remember in back to days, people will say, well, you cannot write 5 pages of resume. Nobody's going to read it. Just make it one
Yes.
page. Now, how much information can you fit in one page? If you go by what you just explained, because you want to capture everything.
Well, I say to people, I don't want to sacrifice content. So you mind map, brainstorm all the biggest initiatives that you did at each company and do like project summaries for those initiatives. Don't worry about the length of the resume because I will trim it down in certain ways that I have just ways of making the page good, white balanced and attractive. So I tell them I'll worry about it, but in tech, I think a three-page resume is acceptable.
All right. There is one thing that every recruiter that I've spoken with recently, excuse me, do mention about, and I would like to hear your thoughts. That is the hot potato, the hard to find candidate. How are you doing about that? And
I'm
what's
doing
your
that well, I'm kind of a hunter, so I do that through LinkedIn. I have a really large LinkedIn network. I do it through referrals. I call people and ask if they know anybody with that skill. Also, I do Boolean searches, so it's kind of old school, but it still works. So Boolean searches is one of my major ways of doing things because, like I said, I haven't had exposure to an AI system to operate yet.
But if you see one, will you be open to use it?
I'm thinking about one that's like a $30 a month subscription or something. So yeah, I have one in mind, but right now is not the time for me to get it. I'll get it when I'm busier, when I have more clients. Right now, I'm still trying to build a client base. It's a little difficult this year because it's very ambiguous and a lot of people are afraid to, I guess, spend their budget and they're laying off people versus hiring people. So I've been having a struggle there, but the government bids are coming in. It's just that I have to right size those government bids. There's certain things I can't tackle alone. I have to find a partner to tackle it with me.
Right. So, magic one question. It's one of the questions that everyone needs to answer. So, if you have a magic wand, what AI tool will you, that probably doesn't exist, will you prefer to have in your hands, and what benefit will that be to your business?
So to me, it would be helpful. The AI receives the resume, sends an automatic generated, we receive your resume, thank you for applying, screens it, and then summarizes it and categorizes it into the right pipeline. If you're keeping pipelines, then it should be able to tell you, hey, this is an AWS cloud practitioner, and put it right into that pipeline for you. I think that would be ideal. I think it would be ideal if it could push out the application at the time of the submittal of the resume, push out the application to them and receive it back, have them fill it out, and then all their information is captured automatically in the system. What else can I say? I mean, I'm sure it can be useful for onboarding once the offer is made and accepted, but I guess it can probably do offer generation and it can probably generate offer letters, I would assume.
With AI, anything is possible. Think the rule of thumb for me is if you need anything with AI, it's all about developing it. It may take some time, but at the end of the day, it's possible. But thanks for sharing that. And I think you can, be on the lookout for that kind of a system. One day, definitely you will get to use it.
Oh, for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the right timing.
All
Because I don't
right.
want to spend on a system that I'm not actually don't have enough clients to even set up a CRM or customer relationship management off, because I was working on all those other states, Wyoming and South Dakota and Utah and all these places all across the country, I took my eye off of Florida because we didn't have any business going on in Florida. And so I'm trying to restoke that network of Floridians by attending, of course, a ton of networking events and just getting my face out there, getting my card out there, shaking hands and just trying to meet the decision makers. So that's my approach right now, is just trying to get more requirements and more companies to trust me and have confidence in me that when they get a resume from me, it will meet all the requirements, because the work I've done for state government, it requires an actual matrix. So you have to line up, okay, they want JIRA. He used JIRA at this company, that company, and this company during these years to accomplish XYZ. You have to have an entire description next to each skill element. So I am very good about not submitting over someone who's not going to meet the expectations of the hiring manager. So that's why I call it precision technology recruitment, because I try to be precise. I don't want to send over just the first person I found, or the first person that speaks well and communicates well, or whatever the case might be. I want to be proactive, and even if they give me their requirements a quarter in advance, that gives me an opportunity to prepare the path and start the process of looking for the perfect candidate without having to be reactive necessarily.
Finding new client for yourself. Have you considered using AI to assist you get where you want to be?
I'm open, but I don't know of an AI system that helps you find business like that in that sense.
Wow. Okay. Where do you see your company going probably in the next 12 years in
12
terms of growth?
years?
Sorry, 12 months in terms of growth.
Well, in the next 12 months, well, I hope I have at least 5 solid clients and, a consistent flow of requirements coming in and out on a weekly basis for us to work against. I have established a few clients here, but they're not always hiring. And right now, a lot of people, like I said, are holding back on spending their budgets just yet. So within 12 months, I'm really hoping to have generated some revenue. That's my biggest goal. And I collaborate with another recruiter that's one of my best friends, but she and I have worked together at several IT staffing companies. She's kind of she's not working for me, but she's a partner in terms of she'll help recruit and we'll split whatever we make on those deals.
Is that a strategic partner that you're working with, or is that a different one?
Oh no, that's a different one. That's just a one person recruiter that's willing to help look for people with me. And if she finds the person and places them, then she gets paid. But she's not employed by me. But the strategic partner, I'm looking to either be a subprime to prime vendors for the federal and state government levels, because I don't have prior experience as my company. The prior experience I have with government was under my employer prior to starting my own company. So I can't say Precision Technology Recruitment has this experience and we have completed these projects. So I need a prime vendor, and then I would subprime under them and maybe do the staffing for them.
Looking ahead with your company,
I'm
what new
sorry?
opportunities, looking ahead with your company, what
Yes.
new opportunities do you see that your company could get into in future?
Well, I can't be choosy now. I kind of have to work on whatever I'm given, but in the future, I do want to niche down to AI, cybersecurity, business intelligence, and data analytics. Those would be the key areas that I'd like to be expert level recruitment at.
Oh, you mean recruiting for people in that particular niche?
Yes. Eventually I want to niche down. Yeah. And I need to niche down because I can't be all over the place doing .NET, Java, MongoDB, DBAs. I have to find, 4 key elements or 4 key areas that I can specialize in and become an expert, subject matter expert in, that I can gain my clients' confidence because I do know enough about AI and cybersecurity to strongly vet a candidate.
Okay, that's interesting. I think that would be a very good niche for you to dive into. A lot of opportunity.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
for other recruiting professionals that you might probably might be listening at one stage or the other that watch these later, what's your advice when it comes to integrating AI and maintaining human elements?
Well, just don't lose your touch. I mean, just be your true, authentic self. If AI is giving you suggestions on what candidates are well suited, pick up the phone and call. Like nowadays, I'm noticing that a lot of younger recruiters are texting or emailing. I use all three media. I try to call. If I don't reach them, I leave a voicemail. I might ping them on LinkedIn, then I might text them or send them an email. But I use more than one method to try to get a hold of them. So, I mean, that is the human element and it's time consuming, but it's a necessity if you really want to get that person on the phone. I do it by asking, "Hey, can you spare 5 to 10 minutes to speak with me? Do you have a moment?" They usually, if you ask them that way, they usually say, "Sure, I can talk for a moment." I don't just go jumping into it. "Hey, I have a job to show you. I want to tell you all about this job." That annoys them, I think.
All right, that's interesting. But looking at the candidate side, what advice do you have for them when it comes to AI? Then knowing that recruiting companies are using AI, how can they also be smart to ensure that they don't get caught up, like you said the other time, because AI doesn't see something, they cut it off. What advice will you have for candidates going forward because of the advent of AI in
I mean,
recruiting?
it's almost like search engine optimization. It's, now you have to do SEO on your resume and make sure that every major skill that's being used today, at least, or currently, or whatever you're targeting. I mean, technically, back in the day, they said for every job you're going to apply for, you should modify your resume and adjust it to that job. But not all technical people want to keep doing that. So if you're going to write your resume, make sure every important keyword is in there, because otherwise the machine is it's not gonna pick it up. It's gonna dash it away because one word is missing.
Wow, good advice. Good advice.
I'd
Ah,
probably
well,
make my AI searches broad. Like I probably wouldn't even narrow my AI searches down that low to a high degree, because I'd be afraid that I'd lose some of the possible talent by, maybe using 8 keywords versus 4 keywords.
right, right. Just to accommodate some more other people, probably because they may leave one or two things out. But if you expand your search criteria, then you'll be able to catch them and then filter them when you interview them.
Correct.
Okay. Where
You
can people
can't take the
find you?
human element out of recruiting, because people have always said recruiting is not a science, it's a science and an art. Because it's a dance. It's a dance between you and the candidate, because that candidate is putting trust in you about their career, which for some people is second or third on their life list of importance. If you serve a God and then you serve your family, the next important thing is your career. And so you
Hmm,
have to be able to establish trust with them that, hey,
sure.
I very well established with this company. I can assure you the culture is very amicable. You're going to learn here. Your skills are going to be stretched. You're going to gain more skill here. Things of that nature. Those kind of pitches, you have to be able to do that with a candidate, or else how else are you going to get them to leave their one job and come to you?
Interesting. Interesting. I want to thank you for the insight that you have given us. I believe everyone that's going to watch this definitely will be able to learn one thing or the other. Personally, I think I've learned the human element is very important. I agree perfectly with you. And I tell people, even some of the people we develop some AI tools for, that you should not automate everything 100%. At least you should have 5% that you are checking because you are not going to hold AI responsible for any decision that you are making. So because of that, you should at least, if you so love AI and you want to really optimize, use it to the highest, possible means, at least leave 5% so that you could check and see that everything is perfect before you push it out there. Thank you so
Sure.
much for joining us. And I
Sure.
think if you have any last thing, you can go ahead.
I have a theory. I think that because so many recruiting AI tools are being built, that a lot of the jobs we're seeing posted out there may not be true authentic jobs. I think they're trying to scrape data and get good resumes in so that when they fire up their CRM, there's good data in already. That's one of the things I'm thinking might be happening in the marketplace because I've applied for jobs and in my career I've never been out of work longer than 3 weeks. Like it's just unusual for me not to get a bite when I submit my resume. Even though I'm committed to my company, I'm also being realistic and I'm open to going back to a tech centric company that's building a SaaS product or a COTS product, you know. But I think that my knowledge of AI is rather limited right now. I'm thinking about taking an MBA in AI and BI. But I was practicing building a recruiting agent for myself that this guy was guiding me and screen sharing with me on how to do it. I just need to complete that project. Then I might know a little bit more about prompting and things of that nature.
Oh, Nikki, thanks for sharing and thanks for coming on the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
You didn't quit your day job to become a full-time admin assistant. The Intelligence Forge podcast is sponsored by Permasize AI Forge. At Permasize AI Forge, we know you didn't start your business to spend 60 hours a week on paperwork, chasing leads, and managing endless admin tasks. You started it to build something meaningful and serve your clients. But right now, you're trapped in the day-to-day grind instead of growing your business. What if I told you our clients are reclaiming 15, 20 hours per week, increasing their revenue by 30 to 50% within 6, 12 months, and finally getting their lives back? We don't just automate random tasks. We build custom AI systems that eliminate the bottlenecks choking your growth, from leads generation to lead, nurturing and management to project management to client follow-ups. Stop paying for an expensive, frustrating manual system. It's time to upgrade to strategic automation. Visit PermasizeAIForge.com and book your free business transformation strategy call today. Discover exactly how much time and money you're losing to manual processes and how to get both back. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Intelligence Forge, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode packed with game-changing insights. Your future automated business is waiting.